Joining me now is Ross McElroy. He is president and CEO now at Apollo Silver, formerly Fission Uranium. Great to see you.
Great to see you again, Mark.
And we'll talk more about that move a little later on in the conversation. But let's just set the table here, if you could, for us. Two projects for the company, California, Mexico. You got the Calico and the Cinco de Mayo. So a little snapshot of those two.
Yeah, sure. So maybe starting with the California project, Calico. It's Southern California. It's in the state of San Bernardino, which is important because it's the most pro-mining, or I guess progressive county in the state of California. So it's a very large deposit, and we'll get into that detail here in just a minute. But it's it is advanced. We do have a great deal of it measured and indicated. We've added zinc and barite to it. So it's in a jurisdiction that can see development. You can absolutely see the light at the end of the tunnel on a project like Calico. It's one of the largest primary silver deposits in the U.S. And Cinco de Mayo in northern Mexico, the state of Chihuahua. It's a CRD, carbonate replacement deposit. It's in a trend of world-class CRDs, and it looks to be one of the more significant of them all. So we're pretty happy to be able to work on these projects.
Right. Now back to Calico, the company increased the land package by more than 280%. So you bought a bunch of claims, you got some high-grade targets. So what's the significance of these claims, and what are the plans for exploration?
Yeah, I think first of all, by adding claims, we've increased the exploration blue sky. These are claims that have not really been explored before, but what's important is that they are contiguous and a long trend of the Calico fault system. The Calico fault system is the reason that the deposit's there in the first place, which is silver rich. There's gold in the system too. There's other metals, as I mentioned, zinc and barite. So the new claims basically take that trend of the fault and continue on for several kilometers along. So you've got a fairly large land package. We have the potential for project development on the western half on the Langcree and Waterloo, but the new claims give us the blue sky potential for making new discoveries, and so it just adds a whole nother dimension to the project.
Right. And still with Calico, you've said that the company's planning an updated mineral resource estimate, PEA, probably by the end of the year. You're on track for that?
Yeah, well, we just released our mineral resource estimate it'll be about a week ago
okay.
now. So, yeah.
I did a lot of this research before.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was always pending. We were talking about it, trying to get it out by early September, so we just issued it not so long ago. What was great about it is that we increased the silver resource and the measured and indicated by another 15%. But I think quite importantly is that we've added two minerals that are on the critical list, as identified by the federal government. That would be zinc and barite, and of course expanded the gold zone by almost a double on it as well. So silver's increased up to now, between all categories, around 182 million ounces of silver. So primarily measured indicated. There's still about 58 million ounces of inferred silver. But bringing the other two minerals into the equation for the first time, I think, is a bit of a game changer for the project, because they'll help. First of all, they give you a little more economic punch by having over 600 million pounds of zinc and 3.2 million tons of barite added to the resource, but they'll also give us political oomph as well as we move to further permit the project. So it was a win-win-win on the mineral resource aspect.
Okay, and then at Cinco de Mayo, you said that you're looking to get your social license so you can do some drilling. So where does that process stand?
Yeah, so the issue there was, it's an option agreement, this property that we have got from MAG Silver. Now, MAG has recently been acquired by Pan American Silver. But this option agreement, basically MAG made a tremendous discovery of a world-class asset more than 13, 14 years ago. They lost social license on the project back in 2012, so they got offside with the community. The community didn't allow them access to the surface, so they couldn't continue work. And so it's been essentially a dormant property for a dozen, 13 years now. For us, we are establishing relationship again with the community, trying to work on a long-term approach with the community. So we have dialogue underway with the community. We have a country manager in Mexico. So we basically have a community expert and local team in place, and we're in discussions to, and they're receptive to it, which is something new. They hadn't been for the last several years, but now they're very receptive for work happening. So we're taking a long-term approach with the community. We want to get a long-term access agreement there. The only update I can really give you is that, yes, we have ongoing discussions with them. I've met personally with the community leaders now. And so, yeah, we're optimistic that we're going to be able to gain an access agreement. This is certainly what we're working towards, and I think it's something that they would like to see too. Okay. So once we do that, then we can begin work on the project again.
Okay. Now, personally, Ross, you used to be at Fission Uranium. You know that obviously for a long time. You helped arrange the sale to Paladin for more than $1 billion, and then you had time to think about what you wanted to do, and you wound up at Apollo Silvers. How did that come about, and why is it the right fit?
Well, starting with, I knew the people behind Apollo Silver. Andy Bowering was a founder of Apollo Silver. Andy's a legend in the mining business. He's had a tremendous track record of putting companies together, putting the right teams together, building asset value. He's already had that started with Apollo Silver. As I said, we have these two world-class assets that we have in the portfolio. I've talked to Andy. We had some mutual friends in the business that work closely together. And so, we started working on our relationship. I wasn't quite ready to hang up my boots and call it a day. I was very excited if the right opportunity came by, the right people, great assets, with projects in good jurisdictions. This met everything, that I would have wanted to do. It ticked all the boxes. And so I had further discussions with Andy, and we decided this would be a good opportunity. Apollo needed somebody with a development and an operator experience that's able to move projects forward. And it pretty much my experience in Fission and and other projects prior to that too. I think come into play, and it feels like we got all the right key members to move this forward. So.
Right, and lastly, your timing seems good. You've got silver at a 14-year high. Even junior silver stocks are moving nicely, including Apollo. So can you kind of frame it for us in terms of the investment case against that backdrop?
Yeah, absolutely. I think silver is in the early stages of a long bull run. It's as a precious metals, it is tied somewhat to the performance of gold, and I think the gold and silver prices are only going to continue to increase as the U.S. dollar continues to decrease. So I think there's a huge opportunity in front just on the on the precious metals side of the business, but silver is also an industrial metal that's of such important use in the the future build out of how everything is. The
solar,
energy
for example,
solar is a great need. So I think that silver. There's very few silver-focused companies, with primary silver deposits, and we have those. So you're in the U.S. jurisdiction. I think that's a benefit. In under previous administrations, it might not have been as positive, but certainly under the administration that's in charge right now, U.S. projects are getting a real boost that they need, and I think that's going to continue. So. When you have assets like Cinco de Mayo in Mexico that are world class no matter what, this is it's not reflected yet in our share price. I think the upside that we have in Mexico. So there is in a nutshell the case for silver and the case for Apollo.
All right, very good. Great to catch up, Ross.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, thanks very much. Ross McElroy, the new CEO of Apollo Silver.